a couple of years ago. If anybody has any questions, please just stop me. And this is what heroin looks like. These are photos from the internet. I do have some photos of what we have seized. People have often asked me what it looks like. And honestly, the best way, and I don't mean to be crude, but the best way to see the heroin that we are experiencing on the street, if anyone has seen a cremated body, it looks like the ashes in a finer form. It is that color grayish, off-white. And I have found that when I've taught classes, that has been the most relatable, that people can see what it looks like. They can picture that because that's something that they're familiar with. So again, and there it is melting, and then they are pulling it up. The biggest thing, obviously, when you're buying heroin on the street is what is it mixed with? Currently, we suspect that it's mixed with the fentanyl, which is causing the people to pass out within probably less than 5 minutes of actually shooting it up.
Yeah, we did have two homicides. There were two overdoses last year. Two gentlemen in the same car died, needles in their arms, over off Forest Drive.
Yeah, at the gas station on Forest Drive.
You know, and
yes, ma'am.
To us back here, that resembles cocoa.
That's what I was saying.
That's what it is.
That's what I was saying.
Because I haven't seen cremated ashes.
Well, it could be. It depends on what they cut it with. It depends. If somebody opted to cut it with, you know, cocoa or something that's sugar or some sort of thing tastes like that, it could. Yeah, exactly. Whatever they opt to cut it with as their cutting agent will ultimately affect the color of the heroin. So I do have some of what is local here. But that brownish gray is the typical of what we are finding. And this is locally seized heroin. So this here is a solid form. It's next to the penny, so you see the size. It's not actually that hard. It's just a harder form of what will then be the powder. And then these other ones here, and you can certainly come up and see, I see that they're bigger, and I'll pull this up later. It's almost like a grayer, it's like a gray, it looks like maybe even a rougher sand, like a grouting sand or something like that. And that's what the color is of what we are seeing here. These are actually seized here within the city. So.
But is it finer, say, than grout?
Yes.
So it would be more like a dust?
You may actually think it is dust.
Unsanded grout.
Yes, unsanded grout. You may actually think, and that's it may actually look like dust on a table, and sometimes we have to be very cautious because if we're opening something and we don't have something else underneath it, it's just pretty much gone. It is much finer than cocaine. Yes?
Do you all carry Narcan is it called Narcan?
It's called Narcan. That is in discussions. That's something that our chief and some of our commanders are talking about. If we are or not, we currently do not carry it. In the city of Annapolis, the paramedics carry the IV-based Narcan, which paramedics are the only ones that can administer IVs, and they actually carry the IV Narcan. We currently, as officers, are not carrying the nasal Narcan.
I just want to let you know that since the county announced that it was carrying it, and I work for a politician.
Okay.
And we have gotten numerous calls that, really? The police will help a heroin addict come back, but you don't carry defibrillators? I mean, seriously, it's a big...
We do carry defibrillators. We do.
Okay,
our agency does,
yes. Yeah, but guess what? The county doesn't.
Yeah.
The county does not, because that's a big concern with our constituents right now. Is that so I can at least tell people, well,
yes.
If you live around Annapolis, if your daddy was shoveling and he fell out and not your brother who overdosed on heroin, they can handle both of them.
Yeah, we actually carry medical kits in our car to just kind of triage first aid and stabilize.
Okay.
Usually, sometimes fire department beats us, but the fire department, actually, I spoke with my lieutenant today, the fire department here has a 2-minute response time.
It's a big deal.
Yes, absolutely.
This is the councilman that I work for, Annapolis, and everything below it, and all the way up to Crownsville. So the people around the city are like, the county police don't have defibrillators, but they have Narcan, so they're just outraged.
Right,
You would save a drug addict before you save somebody that had a heart attack.
We're very lucky in the city to have the fire department. You know, like she said, a lot of times they beat us to some calls. If it's a medical emergency, they're calling the fire department first, and then they're calling us. So they have a little bit of a head jump on us, but still, we're very lucky to have that.
The reasoning was that sometimes they do show up before the fire department. You all can, actually do that. But I would definitely put out the word that you all have
We do.
defibrillator.
Yes, we do. So these are just local pictures. And this is obviously ways that it's injected. IV, smoking, snorting. Injection is the fastest way. I found this photo of the female. I do apologize that you can see her breast. However, that is what happens. And just about IV drug use. I've talked to a couple of the people that have overdosed because we have to sit with them while they're under observation at the hospital. So when you're sitting there for a couple hours, you actually engage in conversation. And a lot of the females that I've spoken to, because that's who I've been with, they started with pill use where they just were actually taking pills. And then they began crushing the pills and snorting the pills. They graduated to snorting the heroin, which then obviously they sought the greater high. They began with injecting, and most of them have admitted that the first time they have injected, it has not been on themselves, that someone has done it for them, because some of them actually find it difficult. And this is why I'm showing you this female, because a lot of our businesses, and I will use the Forest Drive corridor, are experiencing this in their bathrooms. The McDonald's on West Street, the Burger King, the Lido's, the Safeway. CVS doesn't even let anybody, I don't think, use their bathroom anymore. The gas stations. So this is what is happening in our bathrooms within the city. And it's not always the bathrooms, it may be in the car. Our traffic officer went to a 1046, which is basically a vehicle broken down in the road. When he arrived on the scene, the person was passed out with a needle in their arm. So it's very powerful, and obviously the snorting, but the injection is the fastest and the greatest high. And as we're finding, it's not like, hey, I used it today, I think I'm going to wait a few weeks. It's I used today, I need it 2 hours later. We're finding that we are arresting people. Amy and I worked one morning and we arrested a gentleman at noon. He was rearrested at 6 o'clock. So that is what we are seeing, and that is why I included that, because what they are finding in some of the restaurants and businesses is the needles in the trash. So if you do own a business, or if you're going, just that is something just to be cautious of yourselves as residents in the city. And this is just if you know anyone, addicted or tips or something like this, they had put in. But I do want to say that that is the biggest thing that we are experiencing. The mall, I know a lot of people go to the mall. The family bathrooms, because they have the couch, are very, very intriguing and alluring to the people because they can pass out. I think we had an overdose. The subject was leaving the mall and passed out driving the car. And that's what we're seeing with South County in the Narcan, is people are coming to Annapolis, and in interviews apparently we have very potent heroin here in the city. So we had someone from Front Royal, Virginia, which is I guess an hour and 40-some+ minutes away, came here to purchase it because they had heard we had the best heroin in the city.
We're trying to get other dealers to carry our heroin in other places.
Yeah, so
on a later note.
They didn't want to go all the way to Brooklyn?
Right, so no, what we're seeing is a lot more of the Baltimore City people that had used are actually down here. So as somebody had mentioned before, a lot of the people are not city residents. They are coming and they're traveling, over the bridge and stuff like that. So those are things that I would ask for you guys when I ask you to report suspicious activity. If you see that nodding off or somebody that appears to be nodding off when driving, please call us. Our non-emergency line, if it doesn't, but if they are driving a car, 911 may be the best option, because we have there have been a few accidents where they nod off on Forest Drive, and that's 4 lanes, and have an accident kind of thing. So that is stuff that we would ask. If you are starting to see that, to contact us. We are trying to work with the businesses. McDonald's has kind of tapped, they're aware of what's going on. But again, these are businesses that are busy, and their focus is serving the customer and getting them in and out. So they're able to kind of hide in, say, parking lots. They're not out in the parking lot saying, oh, somebody getting high out here, kind of stuff. So that's the stuff that we ask, is if you start to see those kind of things, the nod, or people in the car, sleeping in the car, please call us, because we want to identify areas that we know it is going on, as well as potential buyers in the area. Yes, Frank?
I know it might be a violation of civil rights to some extent, but it is private property. Shouldn't these businesses put security cameras in with signs saying this is security camera enforced?
Oh yes, they do it. Yeah, a lot of them have it.
Putting it in the bathrooms?
I don't know about with the bathrooms, because there's certain things that you can actually put it on the stall. Like, we have them in our booking room, but we can't actually see the stall. You may be able to put it where they're going in and out of the bathroom, but the actual privacy, you can't actually into the stall where someone's going to use it.
That's where I might disagree with you, because of the fact that it's a public, it's a public, but yet it's a private business, so why can't they do it?
Well, you still have an expectation to some privacy, even in a
You
business.
cannot put them in
As long as it's
bathroom or dressing room.
That's right.
Yeah, it's
as long as the notice is there. I think there's probably some legality there, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
but, and that's something that I certainly don't have the education on, but I
It
do
would
want you
definitely be a
guys to be
deterrent.
aware. And obviously, target hardening, again, with an increase in drug use, we do see an increase, especially in property crime. I need to steal something from someone's car because I want to get high, so again, keep your visibles all, your valuable stuff locked up, nothing visible in the vehicle. That's what we're, you know, asking. So again, just wanted to let you guys know what was going on in the city, what we were seeing. There have been some questions about crocodile. It is something that they have seen in Europe and in Russia. It is like codeine, gasoline, paint thinner. It is horrific. It is a very cheap alternative to heroin. It basically eats your body from the inside out. We have not seen it in the United States according to the, I guess, FDA or CDC. There have been rumored reports in law enforcement that it has maybe been in Chicago. If that does come here, that is probably something that's very scary. They call it crocodile because the person's skin starts to rot and becomes scaly because it's going from the inside out. Yes.
You know you can find that on the website?
What's that, crocodile? Oh, well, hopefully we don't have it. So that's something that has been in the media and just wanted you guys to know we have not, luckily, experienced that in Annapolis. But does anybody else have heroin questions? Any questions, concerns, or comments about the heroin? Hopefully it was just a kind of a little bit of education and informative.
You have your heroin codes?
Our heroin codes?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like if somebody on the street is looking for heroin,
Oh.
they got certain codes?
Currently, the only thing that I think that they're using is fire, and that's only because I checked with our narcotics. They don't have currently here any kind of slang term other than having asked for a dime bag or something, and most people that they're dealing with know what it's for. A lot of the stuff has moved to cell phone based. And it's not necessarily even in our open air historic drug markets like they used to be. It's, hey, I'm going to meet 15 people, meet me at the Exxon and they serve, or 15 people meet me in the McDonald's and they serve. And that's what Amy and I had seen that day. A whole bunch of people waiting in McDonald's and it's like, hey, yeah, yo, serve, boom, 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 and leave. So they're not on that street corner traditionally. A lot of it is cell phone sales based. So Corporal Leguez just briefly has some kind of overview on current crime trends. And Corporal Meguez knows a little bit more about the numbers of overdoses because she reads every report. So.
I do. We did have 3 in a car this afternoon, and they were all transported to the hospital. Apparently, they were pretty bad. So it's happening all over the place. I do want to give you a few quick updates for what's been going on in the neighborhoods as far as kind of robberies, the more serious crimes that we've seen. And arrests that we've made, going back from our last meeting, which was in February. So on February 17th, there was an armed robbery in Allen Drive Apartments. It was late at night. The victim was walking from his car to an apartment. He didn't notice 2 men approach him with masks. One had a gun and the other one took his wallet. So again, just you know, being aware of your surroundings and things like this. This was a robbery reported on Forest Drive. This gentleman, whose name I did have on the slide, I thought, Jaime Mejia, he was arrested for robbing someone and taking his cell phone. So we arrested him for that robbery. The victim, unfortunately, didn't report the robbery until, I want to say, at least 2 days later. So, but we were able to track down Mr. Mejia and arrest him for this. Nathaniel Sollers was arrested for stealing from a vehicle. An officer saw him carrying a woman's bag, stopped him, was able to go back, find the vehicle it was from.
Wasn't his color?
It wasn't his color. They were able to find the woman whose purse it was from the identification in the purse. They contacted her at work. She didn't even know her vehicle had been broken into. She had left it unlocked, and he had taken her purse out of it. He has been arrested by us many times for various offenses. This gentleman is, again, his name should be up there. Ellis. No, I think his last name's Ellis. He actually was foolish enough to steal a motorcycle kind of in front of an officer. He started walking off with it. He couldn't get it started, so he left it. And then the owner reported that his motorcycle had been moved, and the officer knew he'd seen this guy moving it, and he ended up coming back while the officer was there to try and get the bike further away.